Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are exploring something quite unique, I'd say. We're going to be checking out King Connections.
Yeah,
And it's not your typical networking organization. We're going to be talking about a whole philosophy built around this idea of giving with intent.
it's gonna be good.
So, what makes this deep dive really interesting is that we've got a bunch of different sources.
Yeah.
We've got some background info on King himself. We've got details about his company and the services they provide. And we've even got excerpts from a 30-day challenge that he created.
This is gonna be very interesting. I mean, this almost gets into the realm of personal development and spirituality, wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's a blend of practical business advice with
Yeah.
something a bit bigger,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
So let's unpack this.
Yeah, let's.
First off, who is King? He's not your average entrepreneur.
No, not at all. He's got over 30 years of experience in all kinds of fields. I mean, you name it. IT, business consulting, real estate, even community activism.
Wow.
He was the president of the National Business League of Greater Washington and co-founded the DMV chapter of Conscious Capitalism. I mean, he's got the experience, but what really stood out to me was his philosophy. Good people love to help others.
It's so simple,
Yeah.
but it seems to be at the core of everything he does.
It really does. And that's where his emphasis on social capital comes in. He believes it's absolutely crucial, especially for entrepreneurs.
Okay, so remind me, what exactly is social capital?
Social capital is all about the value that you get from your relationships, your network. It's who you know, the trust that you build, and the opportunities that come from those connections.
So it's not just about, collecting business cards at some networking event. It's about something much deeper.
Exactly. And King has really turned this whole idea into a business model with King Connections, a benefits corporation. And what's really cool here is that they define success not just by their profits, but by the positive impact they make, merging kindness with strategy, as they put it.
I love that. Now, I got to ask you about this whole spiritual capitalism thing that they mentioned. What's that all about?
Spiritual capitalism, as defined by Michael E. Hendren, is the philosophy that underpins King Connections. It's about integrating the principles of love, empowerment, and transformation with practical business aspects like financial management. So it's about leading with your heart, not just your head.
So it's about making money, but doing it in a way that feels good and does good at the same time.
You got it. They call it fully human in business, a commitment to building a business that serves a higher purpose. And to achieve this, they've developed what they call the connecting with intent formula.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about this formula.
Okay, so the formula is strategy plus connections plus systems plus value equals capital. Essentially, it's like a roadmap for building valuable relationships that can lead to business growth.
Okay, so break it down for me. What do each of those elements mean?
So strategy, that means having a really clear plan for your business goals. Connections are those authentic relationships we've been talking about, built on trust and shared values. Systems refers to having efficient processes, to help everything run smoothly. And then value, that's all about creating something that truly benefits others.
Right.
And when you combine these elements, you get capital, both social and financial.
So it's a holistic approach looking at the big picture and how everything kind of connects.
Precisely. And King really believes that social capital leads to financial capital. And to kind of put this into practice, they've developed two really key services: the Conscious Platform and King Connections Nexus.
Okay, let's dive into those. What's the conscious platform?
The Conscious Platform is like this suite of cutting-edge tools that are designed to streamline your entire business, especially your marketing and your customer engagement. So think AI-driven marketing campaigns, your CRM, sales funnels, and even AI analytics so you can make data-driven decisions.
That sounds really powerful. But what makes it different from all the other business goals that are out there?
Well, what sets it apart is that it's designed with the connecting with intent philosophy at its core. So it's not just about automation, it's about using tech to really build genuine connections and foster meaningful relationships with your clients.
Okay, so it's not just about like blasting out a bunch of emails. It's about actually connecting with people on a human level.
Exactly. And that's where the King Connections Nexus comes in. It takes this whole idea a step further. It's like this online platform where businesses can create a really dynamic profile, integrate their entire digital presence, and connect with other like-minded individuals and organizations.
So it's like a hub for building these fully human connections that King talks about.
Exactly. It's not just another business directory. It's about showcasing your values and building relationships based on a shared purpose. They even use AI to help you connect with people who are truly aligned with your mission.
This is all really interesting, but how do people actually get involved with King Connections? How do they actually experience this philosophy firsthand?
Well, that's where the Giving with Intent 30-day challenge comes in. It's designed to help people put this philosophy into action.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What does this challenge involve?
Well, as part of the challenge, you get a podcast interview to share your story. You get 5 personalized referrals to connect you with potential clients or partners. And you even get a free website that you can gift to someone.
Wow, that's quite an offer. But what's the catch? What do you have to do in return?
It's all about reciprocity. In exchange for all that, you introduce King Connections to 5 of your business contacts.
So you're spreading the word and helping others discover this approach.
Precisely. It's about giving with intent. You're sharing a philosophy that could really help other people grow their businesses and make a positive impact. Speaking of which, we've actually got some FAQs here from King Connections that delve a little deeper into some of these concepts.
Let's hear them. I'm sure there's some really interesting insights there.
Okay, so let's start with one that I think a lot of people are probably wondering about. What is meant by 5 referrals? So they clarify that these are vetted leads specifically chosen based on your business needs. They're not just random contacts. They're people who could genuinely benefit from what you offer.
So it's about quality, not just quantity.
Exactly. And another FAQ that caught my eye was, why do I have to send 5 referrals to you? They're really upfront about the fact that this campaign isn't for everyone. They're looking for givers, people who genuinely enjoy helping others and believe in reciprocity.
That makes sense. I mean, this whole approach does seem like it requires a certain mindset,
Absolutely.
a willingness to give without necessarily expecting something immediately in return.
Right. Now, this next FAQ is interesting. Why do you suggest using KivaZip? So for those who don't know, KivaZip is a micro-lending website that allows entrepreneurs to get 0% interest loans through crowdfunding.
Interesting. So how does that tie into King Connections?
Well, they see KivaZip as a way to embody this giving with intent philosophy by supporting other entrepreneurs. It's about contributing to a community of support, not just taking from it.
Right. So it's like building a network of support and paying it forward.
Exactly. Okay, here's a question that I bet a lot of people are thinking. How do I know this isn't just another marketing gimmick? And their response really focuses on transparency and authenticity. The 30-day challenge is built on proven principles and is designed to create real, measurable results.
So it's not just hype. It's about genuine commitment.
Absolutely. They even offer a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. They're very confident in their approach. Another question that comes up, what kind of results can I expect from participating? And their answer really highlights the long-term benefits of building these fully human connections. So things like stronger customer retention, new partnerships, and increased influence within your business community.
So it's about building relationships that go beyond transactions that lead to lasting value.
Precisely. Their Connecting with Intent formula is designed to deliver both social and financial capital, which ultimately drives business growth.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
This is a pretty comprehensive system. But before we move on, I want to touch on one more FAQ that really stood out to me. How does this approach differ from traditional networking?
Oh, yeah, that's a crucial distinction. Traditional networking often focuses on quantity over quality, which can lead to those superficial interactions that we all dread. King's Connecting with Intent formula is about building really purposeful, value-driven relationships.
So it's about connecting with people who share your values and who are genuinely interested in supporting each other.
Exactly. It's about fostering community and collaboration, not just collecting contacts.
That's a refreshing perspective. I feel like I've got a much deeper understanding now of King Connections and their giving with intent philosophy, but I think there's even more to explore here.
There is. We have some really powerful quotes from King himself that I think really emphasize the importance of connections.
Oh, I'd love to hear those. Let's dive in.
Okay, here's one that I found particularly powerful. Our connections affect every aspect of our daily lives. How we feel, what we know, whom we marry, whether we fall ill, how much money we make, and whether or not we vote all depend on the ties that bind us.
Wow, that's powerful. It really highlights just how pervasive the influence of our connections really is.
I know. Our relationships really shape our perspectives, our opportunities, even our well-being.
Absolutely.
He goes on to say that social networks spread happiness, generosity, and love. They are always there, exerting both subtle and dramatic influences over our choices, actions, thoughts, feelings, even our desires. And our connections do not end with the people we know.
It's fascinating how our social networks extend beyond our immediate circle. It's
Yes,
like this web of interconnectedness that's influencing us in so many ways.
almost like a hidden force shaping our lives.
It is, yeah.
And King really emphasizes that we actually have a choice in how we engage with this force. He says that principle, you can either connect with intent to the people that you want to connect to, or you can be connected to people by events, circumstances, and odder situations.
Right. So we're not just passive recipients. We can actively choose to build those connections that align with our values.
Precisely. And this actually reminds me of a quote by Stephen Covey that I think resonates with this philosophy. He said, "As we learn to ask with intent, listen without excuse, and act with courage, we build our ability to live a principle-centered life."
I love that. It really emphasizes being intentional and taking responsibility for the relationships that we build.
Exactly. And this actually ties into another really powerful quote that King shared, this one from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. "Life's most urgent question is, what are you doing for others?"
Wow, that really puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
It's like a call to action, reminding us that connections aren't just about personal gain. They're about making a positive impact.
That's the core of King's message. He's not just teaching business strategies, he's advocating for a life centered around service and generosity.
I'm so glad we're exploring this. Now, there's one more piece I want to talk about today. King's Kiva Zip plan. This seems really central to his whole approach.
You're right. This is where he brings all these ideas together and provides a roadmap for using social capital to achieve both personal and financial success.
Okay, I'm ready to unpack that. Tell me more.
Let's do it. So, King's Kiva Zip plan, it's all about this idea of giving with intent. He even starts it off with a quote from Napoleon Hill: "When you start giving out, you'll soon begin taking in."
So there's a real focus on generosity and reciprocity.
Absolutely. And it's not just giving blindly. King has a specific plan for this, and it all starts with becoming a Kiva Zip trustee.
Okay, so what does that actually involve? What does a Kiva Zip trustee actually do?
Well, as a trustee, you're kind of like a connector, helping entrepreneurs get the resources they need to really succeed. So you endorse borrowers who are seeking funding through KivaZip. You vouch for their credibility and the viability of their business idea.
So you're like an advocate or a mentor, helping them kind of navigate the platform and access the capital.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So King's plan involves referring 3 different borrowers into this program with the goal of helping them each secure a $5,000 interest-free loan.
Wow, that's significant. What are the benefits of being a trustee besides, just the satisfaction of helping someone out?
Well, there are actually quite a few perks. First of all, you're making a real tangible difference in your community by supporting small businesses and fostering economic growth. KivaZip even tracks your impact so you can actually see how many borrowers you've endorsed, the total funding you've helped generate.
I love that. It's cool that you can actually see the results of your efforts.
It is. But beyond that, being a trustee helps you build your network and increase your own social capital. You're connecting with other trustees, with lenders, with borrowers, expanding your circle of influence, and you never know what kind of collaborations might come out of that.
Right, so it's a win-win. You're helping others, and you're also growing your own network in the process.
Exactly. But King actually takes it a step further. His plan encourages trustees to actually help their borrowers build their networks of support too.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
So he suggests that each borrower identifies 15 people in their own network who can act as kind of like lender ambassadors.
Letter ambassadors? Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of like cheerleaders. They're lending small amounts to help that borrower reach their fundraising goal and also just spreading the word about the borrower's venture.
So it's like this ripple effect of generosity. Everybody's contributing to the borrower's success.
That's the idea. And King emphasizes that these small contributions can really add up quickly, not just financially, but in building that momentum and that sense of community around the project.
It's a powerful stuff. But what's in it for the trustees? What happens after they've helped their 3 borrowers get their funding?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Once the borrowers that you've referred have actually raised their funds, King himself will endorse you for a $5,000 Kiva Zip loan to launch your own business.
Wow. So it's like your generosity comes back to you in the form of an opportunity to fund your own venture.
Exactly. And he doesn't just leave you with the loan, he also provides guidance on how you can actually leverage that $5,000 into $50,000 within 6 months.
This is way more than a lending program. This is like a whole system for building wealth and achieving financial freedom.
And that's what makes King's approach so unique. He really blends social capital, generosity, and strategic planning to create this roadmap for success that benefits everybody involved.
I'm really starting to understand why he calls it the pathway to success. It's not just about making money. It's about personal growth. It's about building connections. It's about making a difference.
Exactly. He even highlights the benefits that go beyond just the financial. So things like discovering your purpose, becoming mentally and financially free, building a connected tribe of stakeholders, positioning yourself as a giver, and increasing your web presence.
That's quite a list. It really sounds like this plan has the potential to transform your life on multiple levels.
It's the power of aligning your actions with your values. When you focus on giving and helping others, it creates this positive cycle that ultimately benefits everyone, including yourself.
This is really shifting my perspective on what it means to be successful. It's not just about, climbing the corporate ladder. It's about using your resources to make a difference.
I agree. King's approach really challenges those traditional definitions of success and offers this more holistic path. And he even backs it up with another great quote. This one's from Samuel Johnson. The true measure of a man is how he treats someone who can do him absolutely no good.
Ooh, that's a good one. It really gets at the heart of giving with intent, extending kindness and support, even when there's no immediate benefit to ourselves.
And that kind of generosity often comes back to us in ways that we never could have imagined.
It does feel like he's trying to create a world where everybody can thrive, starting with supporting and uplifting those around us.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about King's philosophy and his Kiva Zip plan, but he also has some really interesting insights into trust and giving. He even draws on authors like Stephen M. R. Covey and Adam Grant.
Yeah, that's key to understanding how to really build strong, lasting relationships that will ultimately lead to success.
Okay, I'm ready to hear what he has to say.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk trust. How does King define it, and why is it so important in this whole giving with intent framework?
He highlights these four key elements that contribute to trust: integrity, capabilities, intent, and results. And he's drawing on the work of Stephen M. R. Covey, who really emphasizes that trust is the foundation of any successful relationship, whether it's business or personal.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah. If you don't trust somebody, it's tough to build a connection with them, let alone do business with them.
Exactly. And King also digs into these different approaches to giving based on Adam Grant's work. Grant kind of categorizes people as givers, matchers, or takers.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those categories. Remind me what makes each one distinct.
So givers prioritize helping others often without expecting anything in return. They're generous with their time, their resources, their knowledge, and they really find that satisfaction in other people's success. Takers are primarily focused on their own self-interest. They're always looking for what they can get out of a relationship. And then you've got the matchers. They fall somewhere in between. They believe in reciprocity and fairness, trying to maintain a balance.
So where does King fit into all of this?
Based on everything we've learned, he clearly identifies as a giver. I mean, his whole philosophy revolves around giving with intent, and the Kiva Zip plan is a testament to that.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Does he think everyone needs to be a giver, though, no matter what their personality is like?
Not necessarily. He acknowledges that not everyone is wired the same, and that's okay. But he does believe that cultivating a more giving mindset can lead to greater happiness and fulfillment and success. He even talks about Adam Rifkin, who was once LinkedIn's most connected person. Rifkin built this massive network by being a true giver, always helping others, even in small ways.
Shows how giving can create those unexpected connections.
Exactly. And King also brings in some research suggesting that giving can actually make us richer. He cites this economist, Arthur Brooks, who found that people who donate more to charity actually tend to earn higher incomes.
That's really interesting. It kind of challenges the idea that giving depletes our resources.
It does. It makes you wonder if there's this deeper connection between generosity and abundance.
Yeah, I'm seeing how King's approach is really shifting my own perspective on networking. I've always focused on what I can get out of it, but now I'm thinking about how I can give without expecting anything back.
That's the beauty of his philosophy. It's not transactional. It's about creating this web where everyone can thrive.
It's pretty inspiring. So as we wrap up our deep dive into King Connections, what's the key takeaway for our listeners today?
I think the most important message is that we have a choice in how we approach relationships. We can choose to be takers or we can choose to be givers. And as King has shown, the path of giving, while not always easy, leads to greater happiness, fulfillment, and lasting success.
That's beautiful. It's a great reminder that we're part of a community, not just individuals, and our actions have a ripple effect.
It all comes back to King's core philosophy, giving with intent, approaching our relationships with generosity and purpose, knowing that when we uplift others, we ultimately uplift ourselves.
It's a powerful message. I'm so glad we got to explore this today. Thank you for joining us. And remember, as King would say, good people love to help others, so go out there and make a difference.
Well said. And if you're feeling inspired, check out King Connections and maybe even consider participating in their 30-day challenge. You never know what kind of connections and opportunities might be waiting for you.
Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep diving deep.